This video is sponsored by Skillshare. In this video, we are going to take a look at creating and publishing a book without you having to need any special skills or any skills whatsoever to be able to write the book yourself. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me here today. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing because I would really love to see you back here again next week. Publishing a book is a really common life goal or a really common dream that a lot of people have, but the majority of people will never ever get around to writing that book. Or maybe you are someone who would like to publish books to make an income, to create a side hustle, or possibly create an online business to replace any income you may be getting from a day job, but you don't know how to write or just honestly really don't have the skills to write a book good enough to be able to actually sell it to someone. At this point, this is where most people get stuck and never end up writing that book or never end up publishing that book because they think that if they can't write the book, then there's no way it's ever going to happen. But there are ways to start a publishing business without you having to write any of the books yourself. And no, I'm not talking about AI. We can do this through the use of ghostwriters. Ghostwriters are people who offer their writing services to you for a fee, where you do not acknowledge them in any way as the actual author of the book. So their role as a ghostwriter is to purely provide you the content for your book, and then you put your name or you put whatever pen name you want on that book and sell it as a book that you wrote. Now, it's not stealing anybody's work. You are paying somebody to write this book for you, and they are writing it for you as a ghostwriter, which they understand what a ghostwriter is, and they do not want to be named as the author. You will use whatever pen name that you want to use as the author of the book. This is something that has been around for a really long time. It is not something new. It is not some new scheme that KDP publishers have made up in order to publish books in a dodgy way or anything like that. Ghostwriters have been around for years and years, and a lot of people use ghostwriters. You'll find that a lot of celebrities or a lot of famous people who release a book don't usually actually write it themselves. Did you know that Ian Fleming, who is the creator of the James Bond series, used a ghostwriter? As well as Tom Clancy, who is famous for his Jack Ryan novels, also used a ghostwriter. Even Stephen Covey, who wrote the very popular personal development book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That book was written alongside a ghostwriter. Richard Branson and Donald Trump have all written their books alongside or by using a ghostwriter. And there is probably so many more books out there that we don't even realize were written by ghostwriters and weren't written by the actual named author themselves. So let's talk about how you even go about having a book written and you publishing books by using a ghostwriter, because this isn't some easy way to get books published. You do actually have to put in a bit of work before you even get the ghostwriter to write that book for you. The more work and the more effort you put in at this early stage is going to reflect on the end product and how good a quality of book you are going to end up with at the end. I'd just like to take a moment in this video to thank today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of online classes and members from 150 different countries. It's a place for people like you and me who just love learning and getting inspired to be creative. A class that I have taken this week is called Creative Nonfiction, Write Truth with Style, which is run by Susan Orlean to help me and to help any ghostwriter that I hire to be able to create more compelling, interesting stories within the books that I publish, because that is what engages readers. Because Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, it is ad-free, which is great for productivity. It means no distractions, and new premium classes are always being added. Skillshare has a really great offer for the first 1,000 people. To use the link down in the description box below, and if you do, you will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. This free trial gives you access to the complete library of classes, so you can go off and learn something new right now today. Okay, let's get back to the video. First of all, you really just need to decide what types of books that you do want to publish. Do you want to publish fiction or non-fiction? What genre or what niche of books do you want to publish? If you have no idea at all, you know that you just want to publish a book but you're not sure exactly what kind yet, then you will need to do some research to discover what kind of books it is that you want to write. And how you'll come to this decision will probably be based based on things like what kind of books are popular, what kind of books are trending, what kind of books are easier to write, or what kind of books can you write using a ghostwriter, and of course what kind of books are the ones that are going to make you a potentially high profit. A really easy place to start is Amazon itself. The Amazon marketplace is a fantastic place for any kind of niche research for any kind of book that you'll be considering publishing, and just have a browse around the Amazon bookstore and have a look at what's selling and what's trending. And this is easy as just heading down to the books department on Amazon, clicking into books, and then what you will want to do from here is you can run through some of these categories up here, but you might just want to go through all the different categories. And so this might be a little bit time consuming, but it is probably the most important part, because you do want to make sure that you are going to be publishing books in a category or in a niche, a genre that people are actually buying and that are in demand. So I would just suggest sitting and going through each of these categories and having a quick look through what kind of books are in each category. You can drill down even further into subcategories here as well. And if anything catches your eye that you think would be interesting, or that you think could be something profitable, if that's your sort of main focus, then just jot down notes about the topic of the book, the genre of the book, so that you can do a bit more of a deep dive, delve into that particular category later on. You also may want to install a tool that makes it a little bit easier to see certain information, things like the bestseller rank of a book, because this is how you're going to be able to tell which books are popular and which books are selling. You can just install a free Chrome plugin, something like DS Amazon Quick View, and what that does is it shows the bestseller rank here right in the search results. Normally, without one of those plugins to help you do this, you would have to click into each book individually, scroll down to the information of the book to find the bestseller rank. Having one of these plugins makes things so much quicker with your research, so you can see at a glance exactly what a bestseller rank is. Now, a bestseller rank is important because it is a number that is given to every book in the Amazon store, and it determines a book's popularity within the store. So a bestseller rank closest to 1, the closer you are to 1, the more your books are selling. So you want smaller bestseller ranks if you can, which will help you determine whether a particular topic or category is in demand or is popular, or that customers are actually buying. And so you can just browse through all the different categories on Amazon to see if you can find a niche or a genre that you might want to publish in. There are also tools out there that makes this kind of research a lot quicker if you don't want to spend that time scrolling through the search pages in the Amazon search results. And these are tools like Helium 10 and Publisher Rocket. You can do research so much faster using these tools if you have the budget to purchase them. If not, you still can do your research on Amazon for free. It just takes a little bit more time, that's all. When you are deciding on a niche to publish in, it might be a good idea to look for something where you can make multiple books within that niche. Creating a series of books within or around related topics is a really great strategy to help build up sales from already existing customers, because if a customer buys one of your books and really likes it, there is a pretty good chance that they will want to go buy, or at least go have a look at all the other books that you have available. Once you do have a niche and you're ready to create your book, you're going to have to get together some kind of outline for your ghostwriter so that they know what it is you want them to write about. It's not as simple as just sending them a message saying, hey, can you please write me a book on meditation? You definitely don't want to leave this up to the ghostwriter. Otherwise, your book will probably turn out completely different to how you want it to, the idea of what you want your book to look like in your head. It'll be totally different to what you want it to be, and it needs to contain the certain kind of topics or information that people are looking for or want to learn or read about. You will need to do some more research on which topics that you're going to need to include in your book to meet the expectations of your customers. There's a couple of different ways to do this. One is to just do a Google search on the niche or on the topic of your book and have a look around at different blogs and the different articles that come up to see what topics they cover. This isn't about copying anybody else's work or what they have written in those articles or in those blog posts. This is about generating a list of topic ideas that you may want to include in your book. Usually topic ideas that you think are going to be most important and most relevant to that particular topic that you're going to be talking about or writing about in the book. You can also do this by researching other books and looking at other books within your niche on Amazon and see what they have included in their books. Do they have topics that you feel you also have to include in your book because they're so important? And what topics do you want to leave out? Don't forget to also read through comments and reviews on these books to see what it is customers are saying about them. You'll find that you can pick up a lot of really good information just from customers' reviews about what they think should and shouldn't be included in books. And just jot down ideas of these topics you want to cover in your book, and these will eventually become essentially the chapters of your book. If you are looking at creating fiction books or a series of fiction books, then your research will be revolved around that particular genre and things like the tropes that need to be included, and then creating an outline of how you want the story to go, what kind of tropes you want included, what kind of specific events are going to happen at specific times in the story. So essentially a series of events that need to happen in the story and in what order. It would be a good idea here, if you are not familiar with this genre that you want to write a fiction book in, that you do purchase books within that genre, read as many as you can to get an idea of how they're written, what's included in them, the tone that the books are written in, because especially with fiction books, the readers of each genre are very particular about how they like their books written. So it's a really good idea to read as many books as you can in the genre that you want to write your books in. You'll also want to describe within your outline to your ghostwriter the kind of tone that you want the book written in, and this is regardless of whether it's fiction or non-fiction. The tone of the book is going to be up to you. So for example, let them know whether you want your book written in a serious tone or a conversational tone, funny or heartfelt, etc. Ideally, what you want to end up with, whether you're publishing fiction or non-fiction, is a very detailed outline of how the book needs to look, and the ghostwriter will then go through and fill out each of your topics or fill out your storyline with all of the bulk content. Make sure to spend a really good amount of quality time creating your outline. The better that your outline is, the better results you will get from your ghostwriter. Next up, you're going to need someone to actually write the book for you. There are places like Upwork and Fiverr where you can post jobs, or you can search for people who are experienced in writing. It's a very good idea to try to find someone who already has experience in writing within the niche or within the genre that you want a book published in. Also, when using these kind of freelance websites, make sure to only use people who have good reviews or have reviews that you are happy with. Using someone who is new or inexperienced just because they are cheaper might seem like a good idea and a good way to sort of save money having your book written, but it is a bit risky and might end up costing you even more when they don't end up producing a book as good as you want or as good as you need it to be. Then you have services specifically offering ghostwriting services, and these kind of options will save you a lot of time trying to find someone who does specialize in ghostwriting, because that's all that they do. A couple of these services that are well known and highly rated are the Urban Writers and ghostwriting services, but there are many more out there, so hop onto Google and do your research to find the best one that suits you and suits your budget. Now, the only downside with a ghostwriting service is you do not get to pick your specific writer like you can with Upwork and Fiverr. With Upwork and Fiverr, you can find a person, and if you like that person, you hire them. But with the ghostwriting services, you just submit your job, and whoever they have there available to write the book is who you will get. But there are different levels of skill with these writers, which we'll go through a little bit later. And you are probably wondering, but how much is this all going to cost? Let's take a look at the Urban Writers. They have a bunch of different packages you can buy and are mostly dependent on the skill level you want the writer to have. So you can save money by having a writer that is not as skilled as the more expensive writers. Personally, I would always recommend not purchasing the cheapest package if you can afford more, just because you are going to get far better quality the more that you pay. Now, I am not affiliated with the Urban Writers or ghostwriting services, so just take your time deciding which package it is that you would want to go for. And majority of the ghostwriting services have the same kind of payment plan where they have different levels, different skill levels of writers. So most of them work this way. Now, if you are publishing a nonfiction book with the urban writers and we pick the premium level of writer, this is going to cost you $3.99 per 100 words. So if you're publishing a book around 30,000 words, this will cost you just under $1,200 to have the book written. If you're wanting to publish fiction books, the price is the same, $3.99 per 100 words for a premium writer. But as an example, romance books are generally around the 70 to 100,000 word count. But for a 70,000 word fiction book, it would cost you just under $2,800 for the book to be written. At first glance, you might think that this is a lot, and it is. It is a good chunk of change for the majority of people. But we also need to look at this as an investment in your business. And if you take into account how long it would take you to write the book yourself, added to that fact, the reason why you are looking for a ghostwriter in the first place is because perhaps writing isn't your strong suit, then you are going to get books published much quicker by investing money into this, and publishing books much quicker means you're going to more quickly recoup that investment cost to have this book made. Once you have hired your ghostwriter, they have written your book and completed any revisions that you might ask them to make, you have a completed book. You are almost a published author. There is still a couple more things to do though. You will need to have a cover made. Covers are much more affordable to have made than the actual book is to be written. And you do need to make sure you get your cover right, because obviously the cover is what initially piques people's interest and essentially sells the book for you. And you can find lots of highly rated people on Fiverr to create a cover for you at a really affordable price. One important thing to remember with covers is that each niche and each genre of book has its own style of cover, and a lot of the time it is better to stick with the style of cover for that niche. A lot of the time it doesn't work by trying to be completely different and creating a totally different kind of cover than what that niche or genre usually puts out. And this can be really particularly true with fiction. For example, in the romance niche, there is a specific cover style that customers like, and if you do not stick to it, they will not buy your book. Once you do have your cover made, you now have all the components you need to publish your book to Amazon, and your book is ready, available for sale. You are now a published author. If wanting to publish books has always been your dream, is something that you've always wanted to do, but you feel like your writing just isn't good enough, or you think that it's going to take way too long to write, you just don't know how to get started, you now have a way that you can finally get that book published without you having to do the writing yourself. There are lots of people out there making monthly incomes from publishing businesses using this exact method of hiring ghostwriters to write books for them. I hope you have found this video helpful and has given you enough information to feel confident to publish books that you haven't written. Do you think that hiring a ghostwriter is something that you would ever want to do yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.